Welcome to Catch the Vision podcast. And today we're going to do something different. I always say different is good. I want you all to know the vision behind the podcast. So, first and foremost, I want to welcome you who's watching. I'm Kevin D. Williams with Catch the Vision podcast, and it's a subsidiary of Team Vision. And so the podcast was created for a specific reason. You may be saying, okay, Kevin, what reason was it created? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Here's the challenge. Every single day, professionals who do powerful work, around the globe, whether you are a healthcare provider helping patients reclaim their health, you are a coach who rediscover someone's confidence and direction, or you're an author who could change the trajectory of someone's life. But the challenge with all those things is over the years, I've noticed something very, very interesting. And many, if not most of these professionals, they are doing incredible work, but their story is rarely heard. And here's why. The world sees you with the title of doctor, coach, author. But the world never hears the journey behind the title. They don't hear the moment that made you choose the path that you decided to take. They don't hear the experiences that shape the mission behind your work. And those stories matter because people just don't connect with your expertise. They connect with your human experience. And that's exactly why Catch the Vision podcast exists. The platform was simply created to give professionals the opportunity to share not just what they do, but why they do and why they do it. I want to say that again. The platform was created for professionals to share what they do, but why they do what they do and the way that they do it. Now, I want to talk to you about the misunderstanding behind marketing. One of the most conversations I have with professionals is about the marketing. Most professionals believe that, in their business or practice, it's not growing the way that they want it to grow. And they go, well, Kevin, the problem has to be the marketing. So they think. So they think that they need more advertising. They think that they need more social media content or more promotion or more marketing strategies. You know what? After working with thousands of professionals over the years, here's something that I completely discovered. Is that most of the time, the real challenge is not the marketing. The real challenge is the messaging. You go, Kevin, what? The messaging? Wait, what do you mean? Your messaging is the ability to clearly communicate what you do, who you do it for, and why your work matters. That's the messaging. See, when the message isn't clear, A confused mind will always say no. But a clear mind that understands the clear message will always take action. But when someone can clearly communicate the impact of their work, everything changes. People understand. People connect. And most importantly, people trust what it is that you're doing for them. So why do stories create connection, Coach Kevin? Here's why. Human beings are wired for stories. We're all wired for stories. Stories are how we make sense of the world. Does that make sense? I want you to think about the most powerful conversation you ever heard. It wasn't a sales presentation. It wasn't advertisement. It wasn't, none of those things. It was the story. It was the struggle. It was the perseverance. And most importantly, the transformation. See, when someone hears the story of a healthcare provider who chose medicine because of a personal experience, that's a connection. When someone hears a story of a coach who overcame something difficult and now helps others, that's a connection. When someone hears the story of an author who wrote a book because they wanted to help people with the same situation, that's a connection. You know, the combination of all three of those professions is that the story connected with the reader, with the listener, with the viewer. And that's the foundation of every meaningful professional relationship. So the purpose of Catch the Vision is to create and to help highlight professionals making real impact on people's lives. And so on this show, we feature conversations with healthcare providers, coaches, authors, thought leaders, people who committed their lives to helping others grow, heal, or succeed. Each conversation talks about the journey, the mission, the vision, because behind every professional title is a story. A story about why they started, what they learned along the way, and a vision about the people that they want to help. And when people hear that story, they see a human being behind the professionalism. And for that, that's when true connection begins. Now, I want to talk about, how our guests are selected for the podcast. And here's something important, and I want you to understand. The Catch the Vision podcast is a 20-minute professional interview experience. Typically, we're going to be interviewing the people that are in healthcare, who are coaches, who are authors. And this 20-minute interview, it's a $200 investment that costs you absolutely nothing. You go, okay, Kev, what's the catch? Well, that's why we call it Catch the Vision, because the catch is simply this. We're going to cover the cost completely. And again, we're going to do it at absolutely no charge because our goal is to help powerful stories reach people who need to hear them. That's our goal. However, there will be a process as far as being selected. Okay, Kevin, what's the process? I'm glad you asked. So each month we're only going to select 3 professionals to feature on the podcast. I said 3 professionals to feature on the podcast. So that means not everyone who applies will be selected immediately. So if you want to be considered, you're going to have to apply to be a guest. And again, this is for my healthcare providers. This is for my authors. This is for my coaches. And when you submit your application, there's going to be questions when you go to the site. We're going to review those applications. And we're going to look at what you're doing. We're going to look at the impact you're wanting to make on society. And if your story aligns with the platform's mission, we will notify you by email that you've been selected for an upcoming episode. So again, I want to make sure that you are clear on this. There is a selection process to be a guest on the Catch the Vision podcast. You must fill out our application. Our team will review the information that we're looking for to make sure it's a good fit to be on the show. Okay? And now again, we are limited to 3 guests per month to ensure each conversation and the story is meaningful and intentional. Now, I want to close with this. I want you to know that every professional has a story, and sometimes the story behind the work is the very thing that helps someone else find hope. Your story could be the reason that someone finally decides to get help. Your story might be the reason someone believes that they can change their life. Your story might be the message someone has been waiting to hear. That's why this platform exists. To create a space where professionals can share the vision behind their work. Because when people can see your vision, they begin to understand your value. And when they understand your value, they can connect with the impact you were meant to make. This is Catch the Vision podcast, and we're here to help you help the world see the vision behind the work.